chop chop chop, judo flip, chop chop judo flip, judo flip.
Rice. Please don't tell me you don't know how to make rice. White rice, please. Don't tell me you don't know how to parboil rice, please.
I mean, even I can make rice. It's
Even
that
my
simple.
baby sis can parboil rice.
Just put some rice into a pot, place it on fire, then add water to it. Which one do you do first? Do you add water to the fire first, or you add?
You put water to the fire first, allow it to steam, allow it to boil.
And dear people of Nigeria, I just
You don't know how to make rice.
I just spoiled rice. Hello and welcome to this episode of Know Your Nigerian in 10 Questions on 0100 Naija, your Nigerian review podcast. This year is going to be this should be the fourth episode in the series.
Okay.
Yeah, in the interview series. Today we have a gifted guest in the studio and we're going to be introducing her very soon, shortly. She's an artistic force and she's someone whose work I've come to admire actually over the past little while since I got exposed to her work. So, well, if this is the first time you're listening to this kind of episode on the podcast, to one of the episodes of the Know Your Nigerian in 10 Questions series, the Know Your Nigerian in 10 Questions series on 0100 Naija is a series of interviews that's aimed at getting to see and understand the Nigerian experience from the eyes and mouths of everyday Nigerians from various fields. So we bring them onto the podcast here, and then we grill them. We ask them questions in order to understand their perspective on what it is to be Nigerian. So we ask them questions concerning Nigerian society, Nigerian history, and Nigerian culture. So typically we have 10 main interview questions that are open-ended that get us to this aim, to this goal of ours, this stated objective. And then of course we have other quiz questions with which we test the factual knowledge of our guest in the studio. No pressure though.
I'm just thinking it.
Alright, so our guest today is Miss Stellamaris
Nwobodo.
Miss Stellamaris Nwobodo. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, my name is Stellamaris Nwobodo. I'm a visual artist and I'm also a student. Yes, and my art name is Marella's Art. I make paintings and I make abstract works as well as portraits, and I tell stories through art. I express my emotions and as well the world entirely through art.
All right, so that's great. So I think that should stand in for the first standard interview question. You've gotten to know our guest in the studio. She's an artist, she's a student, and she's a storyteller using visual art forms. All right. Thanks, Miss Stella, for gracing our podcast with your presence today.
Thank you. Get me to see more.
All right. So we'll be getting into it right about now. Are you set? Are you good? You're calm, right?
Yes, I'm very ready. I'm very ready.
No pressure. Right?
No pressure. I'm ready.
All right, then let's go. So, like you've said before on the podcast, you generally have a set of 10 standard questions. Although today I think I'm changing 2 of the questions and I'm changing them with 2 new questions. But that's still no pressure. It's still the same standard. No open-ended, no wrong answers. Okay. All right. So what you'll be getting to, I think let's start then with one of the 2 new questions. Let's see. Okay, so here is this. This might take, so you might need to take your time on this and then, but it's still generally.
Can you say it already?
Okay, now, so, growing up in Nigeria, right? Mm-hmm. Over the years, over time, we get to hear a lot of stories about how things used to be back in the day in Nigeria.
Okay.
So, this question here is that, what's a story you've heard about or that you've been told about how things used to be in this country that you think is an experience you would like to live through?
I think it's an experience I'd like to live through. Something
you've been told about how things used to be back in the day.
Okay.
That you would probably like to come back, or that you wish you can experience it for yourself.
Whoa. Okay. Okay. I don't really think I remember any. Okay, let me just say this one. My dad would be like, back then in the days when they used to go to school, they used to give them just one. Is it one kobo? They call it all those coins.
Yeah.
And they'll be trekking to school. They don't used to wear slippers.
You want that to feel yourself?
I want to test how it feels like, because almost every time he rings it like a bell. So it's like we've never experienced. We don't know how stressful and how hard things were back then for them to be trekking barefooted to school. And I'll be like, okay, long distances are for that matter. And I'll be like, I think we need to try this. So we'll also tell them that it's also not easy or it's even easy. I think that's the only thing that I've been thinking of, because my dad always say that all the time. Be like, yeah, that's it. That's just it.
Okay. So I get a bit of that. I understand that. And about the Kobo bit, okay, I'm not that old, honest members. Well, I'm not old actually. I'm a pretty young guy, but I'm old enough to actually be able to say that I did spend some of those coins.
I don't.
Okay, I think when I started school, I used to leave home with a couple of 50 kobo coins in my pocket. So I go to school with probably like 3 naira, 4 naira sometimes. So 50 kobo coins and 1 naira coins. I did spend that. So I remember the experience, and it's something I would like to relive again sometime.
Maybe I'm this Indomie generation. I don't think I really used that, but I can remember vividly when I was younger that we do pick it on the floor, maybe in sands or something. But I think
it was worthless.
Yeah, we do pick it, and I think recently there are some supermarkets that still give that. So I just get to feel how it's but I don't really spend it.
They reintroduced the 1 naira, and they introduced the 2 naira coin.
Yeah.
Back in 2010, thereabouts.
Yeah.
It didn't really remain in.
And people, I think
it
was
almost worthless.
it's a load.
Yeah.
It's a load, really.
Yeah,
It's a load.
that,
It's a load. But I get to touch it, and I think I spent. I can't remember. I can't remember though. But I think I spent like once. I just can't remember. I think I spent like once. But I want to get that experience a bit.
Yeah.
So I'll also be like, me too. I know what you felt, or I know how stressful it was, or it's not even that stressful.
So for you, the older audience members, there is a bit of nostalgia for you. Can you remember spending 50 kobo and 1 naira coins?
I don't know if I don't know. Please.
All right, so that's great. Thanks, Miss Stella. Thanks for that. So let's go on to our next question now. Okay.
Yes.
You are a storyteller, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you tell stories, and I'm sure there are a number of people who would have inspired you on their journey towards of storytelling.
Yes.
So here, this next question here is about your favorite storytellers. Who is your favorite Nigerian writer, and what's your favorite book by them?
Okay, my favorite Nigerian writer is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I love her books so much. I had to buy one for myself as a gift.
Nice.
Like, they gave me money to get something for myself, and I said I must get one of her books for myself. And I also requested a friend to get me one of her books if it's to buy me a book.
Okay.
So, and her favorite book I love is Half of a Yellow Sun and The Feminist. These two books are my favorites.
Choice.
And she inspires me through her books, especially from Half of a Yellow Sun, when she tells the story of Nigerian struggles and all those things. During the Civil War. Thank you. That's a big inspiration for me. It's like talking about our history and letting us know what our forefathers went through, and for us to also have an experience, a kind of experience in terms of reading it and feeling what they felt. Then even though we can't feel it in our skin, at least from the books we read about it, we know how it was for them. And that's where I draw inspiration in telling my stories as an artist. I try to put together what's happening now, and so in the future we can as well tell that as a story to others as well.
That's a great one. Thanks a lot. And Half of a Yellow Sun, phenomenal body of work. I think we talked a bit about it in one of the past episodes of this podcast, past episode of this series with our second guest. That's one of his favorite books too. Chimamanda was one of his favorite writers. And about the historical bits in the book also. It's important that we understand history, because if we forget what has happened in the past, then we are bound to remake the mistakes of our fathers.
Yes.
So we have to understand history, we have to understand the mistakes that were made in the past, so we can avoid them in the future ourselves. Thanks a lot. an eye-opening one. All right. So let's see if we can make things a bit more lighthearted. This question here is one of the fan favorites.
Oh, I hope this will be my favorite.
All right. So here we go.
Okay.
If you find yourself outside the country for an extended period of time.
I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to go home.
All right. So if and when that happens,
Okay.
what meal would you crave the most to remind you of home?
I will crave for banga stew. We call it ofaku. Allow me to speak my dialect, please. We call it ofe aku. Yeah, that's what it's called. That's banga stew, but it's ofaku. Please, most times I want to hear it as ofaku, not banga. It's ofaku stew. That's the one I'll crave for the most.
What people call it banga?
It's Igbo. I'm an Igbo guy.
No. Ofaku is Igbo.
Okay, ofaku is Igbo. Yes. Banga, I think it's banga. I'm trying to remember. Is it?
I've heard it called by both names.
It's
before.
English. It's English. Banga.
I don't know.
Sounds
either.
Ghanaian. It's Ghanaian. I don't know.
Sounds like
I seriously, I just get to think about it now. Banga. I don't really know whether it's English,
Okay.
but I see it most times. Like spices, they write it as banga stew spice, something like that.
So audience members, if you know,
Please, if you know the name, you can
educate
say
us
it
on
because
this.
I just get to reason it now that
All right.
I don't know if
But I
it's
know, in Igbo it's Ofaku.
It's ofaku, but I don't know if it's an English name as banga or.
So
I don't know.
Ofaku is what?
Ofaku and rice.
And rice.
Yes, white rice.
White rice.
Yes.
Okay. So do you know what's coming after this?
No?
You don't?
Okay.
So here you go. Yes. How is it prepared?
Oh, because I should know how it's prepared. My favorite meal, I should know how it's prepared. Okay, first you get your palm fruits from the market and you boil it like the way you boil your yam. And then you keep checking it to know when it's ready. I think when it's ready, it kind of gets cracky and it will be soft. So you pour it out. That's a sign that it's ready to be removed. Then you pound it. After you done pounding it, you sieve out the chaff. You use hot water or warm water, preferable. I think warm water is best. So you can easily extract the oil and the juice from the nut. When you're done with that, you put it back on fire. You allow it to boil for, I think, a long minute. So the water, it won't be that watery. It will get to a point where it will get a little bit thicker than what you sieved. Then after some minutes, and you get your fish, dry fish, black fish, any kind of dry. I think, all type. Please use all types of fish. If you are rich enough to provide all those kind of fish, then provide it, please. And meat. You boil your meat normally, parboil your meat and keep it so you can add the water extra when it's almost ready. Then you can pour your dry fish so it will cook together with it. Then after that, you put your meat. Yes, you put your meat. Then you get your vegetable. You get ugu leaf. They call it pumpkin. Yes, pumpkin leaf. Yes, you get ugu. And there's another leaf also you get scent leaf. I think they call it scent leaf. We call it what do we call it again? Nchao, yes.
Yeah.
We call it nchao. You know it also as nchao, okay? Yes. You cut it. You cut your nchao, then you add your leaf when it's already almost done, almost ready. But how to know it's ready? It's when the liquid is getting thicker than what you put on fire. I think that's when you know it's ready. Yes, as evaporated, exactly. Then you add your leaf. Allow it to steam a little bit. Please don't allow your leaf to get too soft. Just make it a little bit hard. Yeah. That's when you get the real taste of the leaf. Hi! Oh my goodness.
Delicious, right?
Hey! Just cook your rice already.
So
when you eat this.
Seasoning do you add to it?
Maggi, hey. Seasoning I add, like, it depends on the quantity though, but don't add too much. It's a native something. Don't add too much seasoning to it. It has its own taste and aroma. Don't add too much seasoning. You just make it too sweet. No, it's not going to be okay. Just add in moderate seasoning. Maybe if you're adding, let me say 4 seasoning to your food, just add 2. If you're making this normally, if that's the amount you use normally, then just reduce it to 2 or by 1. I think that's okay. Man, after that, God, sit down with it. Hey, let me not say it. I actually ate it yesterday.
Wow, nice.
We made it yesterday.
And you forgot to bring some to the studio for us. Yeah.
I think it's finished.
All right. So, and of course, the rice bit is
We
of
all
course.
know how to make rice. Please don't tell me we don't know how to make rice. White rice, please. Don't tell me we don't know how to parboil rice, please.
I mean, even I can make rice. It's
Even
that
my
simple.
baby sister can parboil rice.
Just put some rice into a pot, place it on fire, then add water to it. Which one do you do first? Do you add water to the fire first, or you add?
You put water to the fire first, allow it to steam, allow it to boil.
And dear people of Nigeria, I just
You don't know how to make rice.
I just boiled rice. No, of course, I do know how to make rice. I know you boil the water
boil
first,
the
then you
water
add
first, yeah.
rice to it.
Then
So you
add
could
the
parboil
rice.
it first.
Parboil,
And
then just
yeah.
wash it off and add
I mean,
that pot.
I might be a bad cook, but I'm not that terrible yet.
Alright,
I mean, I've been surviving on my own for a while.
You should know how to make rice.
Yeah. So thanks a lot about that for that. So Ofiaku is native to the southeastern part of Nigeria, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean from the name itself.
Yes.
Ofe is soup, right?
Soup, yes.
In Igbo.
Yes.
Then Aku is
native name
the
for banga.
the palm kernels themselves.
Palm kernel, yes.
Yeah.
Aku is
Okay, yeah. So all right. Thanks a lot, Miss. I think you'll take some of the pressure off me after this podcast comes out, because I think also maybe some of the remarks the audience members are bound to make when every episode comes out about our guests being able to prepare their food of choice. So you have that, and I think you've done justice to that. You've answered 3 questions,
Okay.
I think. Yeah, but then before we go ahead with the other interview questions, we would like to ask you our first quiz question.
Wow. I've been waiting for this.
No pressures.
I've been waiting for this.
All right, so for the first one, let's not make this too deep. We are recording this, anyways. Dear audience members, the podcast presently has experienced some technical issues that I'm hoping to be able to fix very soon. But in case this particular episode takes its time in coming out before it comes out, so I'm just putting this disclaimer out. Although this disclaimer is coming out, you'll be hearing about it when it comes out anyways. But then if it comes out too late, this is just me trying to say it came out a bit too late because of certain technical difficulties we're having. I don't know if you'll be able to find time to discuss it later on, but that's just it. Anyway, so when I don't know exactly when this is coming out, is what I was trying to say. But we are recording this on the 12th of June.
Yeah.
Which for the past couple of years now has been the Democracy Day in Nigeria.
Yeah.
All right. So here's our first quiz question.
Something for Democracy Day.
Here's the first question. What's the significance of the 12th of June, the date, the 12th of June, 1993?
That's when Nigerian became democratic. Yeah. Get the name from what it means. Democratic, okay. Democracy means freedom to vote and to be voted for. No longer military rule.
Okay. Now, do you know what the former date for Democracy Day celebration was before June 12th?
Oh my God, I don't know.
Yeah. So up until a few years back, it was May the 29th.
Okay.
May the 29th was the date in 1999 when the former military head of state, Salami Abubakar, formally handed over power to General, now President Olusegun Obasanjo, following the elections in February of 1999.
Okay.
That's when military rule officially ended in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the former date for Democracy Day. Now, a few years back, the date was changed to June 12th. And that was because of an event that occurred in June the 12th, 1993.
Are you trying to remember the event?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I know back then in school we did this current affairs stuffs,
Yeah,
and these questions
just,
were
we didn't
asked.
actually do history, just current affairs.
Current
Social studies,
affair,
right?
yes, we did current affair, but we were made to cram all these things about history. But right now, please don't ask me, I can't remember. I'm
Don't
trying
worry,
to crack
it's
my
all
brain
good.
for it.
At least for this question, there is nothing much at stake. So, June 12, 1993 was the date of the elections in 1993. So, we had democratic elections after over about 1993. So, I think decades at that point. It was the first democratic elections in Nigeria after decades of military rule. Because I think the first ones, should I say the first? Well, anyways, there were other elections prior to this. Okay, I think there were some elections just prior to independence, but those weren't really major elections. So there was one around 1975, and then after that one, we didn't have any major democratic elections until that one in 1993. So following the elections, results were announced, but then the result of the presidential elections was later annulled that year by the then military head of state, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. So he cancelled the elections because I won't purport to know what his intentions were or why the reasons for his actions. But anyways, that's the fact is he cancelled the result of the election. They were annulled, and then a few years back, because ever since then they have always been clamoring from a certain section of the country, of course, about the government officially recognizing the results of those elections back in that year. So the government of the immediate past president officially did that a few years back, recognized the June 12th elections and its results and all that. So that's the significance. That's why we mark it as the Democracy Day in Nigeria.
I pray I don't forget this anymore. I pray I don't forget this anymore.
Well, in case you do, just remember this episode will always be online. You can always go back to listen to it.
That's true.
All right. So there's that. Now let's go ahead now. So yeah, this is a pretty light-hearted one too. Okay. Who is your favorite Nigerian artist or musician, and what's your favorite song or body of work by them?
For musician, my favorite artist is Johnny Drake.
Good choice.
I wouldn't say like is an understatement. I love his songs. Like every beat he releases, they are just top notch. Like they are so cool, and I like the way he sings. His songs are so calm and collected. I'm yes, and I'm a kind of person calm and collected. I don't really like lousy beat blah blah blah. So that's one reason why I love his songs very well. And his favorite I like
Song or album?
Me, the favorite used to, like, will I say change or I would just add to it?
Yeah, can I just make a list?
Okay, I love, okay, the first one that was my top favorite was, Papa. It's on, I think it's an old beat, 2016 or 7, I've forgotten though. Then I love, How Are You, My Friend?
That's the recent one.
Yeah, that's the recent one. And I love, Hey, I've forgotten the next one. I love, but anyway, just go with this one for now.
Okay, good choice. I'm a bit of a Johnny Drake fan myself, not too big, but yeah, I do like his music. I do enjoy his songs. Yeah, I think he's a good guy. He's one of those guys who actually know their stuff. It's not just about the lyrics. You know, his music theory, his sound, and
it's not
if you're going with the lyrics too.
Yes,
he's on point, and I think he's a bit of a producer, and he does mixing and mastering it too. So yeah, so his songs are always usually on point. The sound, the content, they are usually very good. Thanks a lot, Miss. Yeah, seems you also have good taste in this.
I do
songs. Okay, so let's see. This is not a tough one. It's just let's see. No, it's a test. This one here is a test of we I think we've coined it over the past few episodes as a test of how Nigerian you are.
Oh.
So the pass mark for this is for you to get at least a quarter.
What if I don't? Please, I'm in Nigeria, which don't forget. I'm in Nigeria from Enugu State. Please don't forget in case I feel this thing.
All right. So let's go with this. And so how many states have you been to in Nigeria?
Whoa. I've not really traveled a lot, even though I want to, but I know I'm going to travel more. I was born in Enugu, so 1.
All right.
I've been to Port Harcourt. I've stayed in Port Harcourt. My grandmom stays there, yes. 2, Kanu. I'm in Kanu, yeah.
Alright. That's
3. Where have I been to, please? Where's? Okay, I remember one time when I was younger, I went for a wedding. I think it's Abia State.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's Abia State, yes.
Is that 4?
Yes. Then hey, please don't disappoint me. Haven't I tried enough? I think those are the states I've actually been to. Then the rest, I'm only passing, but I don't think I've come down. Okay,
Yeah.
I passed Abuja, but no, I didn't come down. I was in the bus.
Typically, we don't count it unless you make a stop in the state.
Whoa! So I've gone to nowhere aside these 3
So
places.
that's 4. That's
Okay, 4,
correct.
4, yes, 4.
Four.
Yeah, 4 places.
Okay, so Miss Stella.
How much of a Nigerian am I?
So 4 out of 36 states, right?
Wow!
So that's 1/9.
Oh my goodness! 32
And the
states.
pass mark is 1/4.
Oh my goodness, I'm Nigerian.
So you
I'll
are.
travel more, please.
So the pass mark to be a Nigerian, according to this question, according to your answer to this question, is 1/4, right? And 1/4 is not even half of 1/9. So
Oh
Miss
my
Stella, you're not even half a Nigerian.
So someone come and take me out. Someone come and try with me. Please, you can put me in your luggage if you want.
So this isn't that big of a podcast. If it were that big yet, we will have just taken you on a couple trips or out,
I would really love
maybe
it, please.
a
Let me
cross-country trip. We take you from
Seriously.
here down to the southeast, and then we make several
Maybe
stops
we'll
along
just
the way.
Yeah, I think that will make it count. I'll just be stopping by, maybe get something, we'll enter, I'll continue the journey. Maybe I'll stop like in 6 states. So it will count. It will count.
that would have counted.
I think I'll try and do that next time.
All right. So okay. So that's good. At least that's according to how that goes. All right. So let's ask this.
Okay.
Next question. Growing up, what was your favorite Nigerian movie?
My favorite Nigerian movie. It's more like an old theme.
Yeah. So that's
more like an old thing.
actually.
Oh, Nigerian, you said?
Yeah.
Trying to remember. All is going in my
Nollywood
head.
movies.
Hey, Nollywood. Sophia, Aki and Popo. I don't know. I really can't
Sophia in
even.
London.
Hey, yes. Sophia in London one.
Okay.
Aki and Popo. Which other one? I think those are the common old Nigerian movies that every child should remember. In fact,
Alright.
everyone my age should remember.
Then, in the Sophia in London, can you tell us about the movie?
Hey, I'm trying to remember. I know he was carrying a Ghana must go, red and white Ghana must go.
I mean, the synopsis of the movie is there in the title.
See, all I know is I remember the name. I remember he was carrying it back. I think he actually went to London.
Yeah.
Then I'm trying to remember what he was in. He was walking about.
He had a bunch of experiences in London.
He-
Various experiences.
He did, but I really can't remember. But I just know that I have a little bit memory on what I watched. That's Sophia in London. Even if you've never watched that movie, then you definitely will be hearing about Sophia in London. But I watched it once. I think that's why I don't really have a good memory of it. But Aki and Popo, I've watched.
Let me tell you my story about that then. So now, here is it. Sophia in London, right?
Okay, you actually remember very well. I think I didn't watch it that much, but
Alright.
I have that.
So
in my head.
Osofia is a village guy here in Nigeria. He got invited to London, I think, by an uncle of his. So he went to London, and then of course, as you said, he went with this. The Ghana must go back, as we call it here. And then he had a bunch of village man experiences in London.
Yeah.
It's kind of maybe I don't know if I should say they took inspiration from this Mr. Bones movie.
Okay, I've watched
So
it
something
before.
similar, anyways. So he had a bunch of hilarious experiences in the London there, because of his village man
His-
attitude,
yeah.
and then a village man in the city
Uncivilized.
and thereabout. Well, he had a bunch of cultural shocks, and there were a bunch of culture clashes between him and the city of London.
Yeah.
And then, he had a bunch of experiences. And I think towards the end, he fell in love with a white woman, or if for some reason a white woman fell in love with him, and then
Brought her back
to
home.
him.
I remember.
Now, so here's the thing. From what you were saying before, I have never seen this movie,
Are you serious?
but I've heard all about it.
You
So yeah.
You just make me remember a movie I watched recently. The man actually didn't see a movie, and he was telling the girl that he know about the movie, and the movie's name is Titan. He was actually explaining it just the way you did, and it's more like I'm the girl he was talking to. And when he was done, then the girl was not like, wow, you also love Titan, and he was like, I never see that movie, I just know about it.
Yeah. So it was that prevalent then. I think I was in primary school when it came out. Yeah. And people were always talking about it. Like,
oh, so you've played me now.
I didn't play you. You actually named the movie yourself.
You don't make me believe as if you want you have a more visualized this in talk.
Yeah, because the way my mates then narrate the movie and they talk about it, it
actually was.
Yeah, I was visualizing it in my head. I formed image and it was imprinted. And when you mention Osofia now, the movie name came out actually.
You should have, or someone should have seen the banner in shops, maybe all these shops.
I've seen the posters,
yeah, you see the posters there. Even if you have not watched the movie, you also tell someone else, just like he's doing now, please.
Yeah, it's well, like I said, I haven't seen it, but I believe it's an interesting movie. Maybe someday I might actually look it up and get to watch it.
I'll browse about it so I can take a little snippet on it.
All right. So we have 3 more questions to go. Whoa, all right. So here now, we are going to be doing another one of our quiz questions.
Oh, I pray I get this one.
All right. We'll try to take it easy on you, miss. We'll try to go easy.
Go easy on me.
All right. So there's an interesting question here, but it doesn't look like an easy one. So.
Easy one?
Oh, would you like me to?
Maybe you can give it a try. Or maybe you do.
Okay, let me test the ground first to see if it will be a good way to go. Okay. Although I think one of these days I'll just ask these questions anyway without even testing the ground with the guest in the house. But let's take it easy for now. Okay. How familiar are you with the history of? You said you were born in Enugu State.
Yes.
Did you grow up there?
I grew up part of my life, kind of. I stayed there for like part of my life.
Okay. So, are you familiar with the history of Enugu State?
No, not really.
So I'm not asking the question.
I was small.
So I'm not asking the question. Let's look for another one then.
I don't think I know much about history.
Okay. So let's do this one now. This is a very interesting one. I've never asked any question in this line before. At least not on the series. It's interesting. So, when we were in primary school, one of the first things we taught is the state and capital table.
Yes.
How well do you remember the state and capital table?
I think when I start, I think it will become.
To recite everything. So you still remember it reasonably well, right?
I can recall it as long as I start.
Okay. Here's the question I'm asking anyways. How many questions? Sorry.
Question.
I'm in love with my questions. How many questions? Oh, not again. Lord have mercy. How many states in Nigeria have names that begin with the letter E?
That begins with the letter E?
Yes.
Whoa. I need to read a state and capital before I would be able to recall this. I'm coming.
You just go down on that table to letter E and start going down.
I think it's 1.
No, she's.
I'm trying to recite it in my mind.
Okay, so
is it the states? I mean the capital.
The states.
The states. Yeah. Letter E.
Yeah.
I know of my states. Enugu.
Okay, so there's another state in the southeast.
Edo.
Southeast.
You guys want me to read it? To recite
neighboring state to Anambra.
Neighboring state to
Anambra. Yeah, I should think so. It's a neighboring state to Anambra.
Neighboring state to Anambra?
It's also a neighboring state to Anambra.
It's neighboring state to Anambra.
Southeast anyway, so, but there's another state. I think it's also neighboring Anambra.
Ekiti.
Ekiti is in the southwest, but then there you are. Yeah, it is also starts with letter E, so that's 2. You have
How many have I mentioned that? Really?
Alright, yeah.
Oh,
There's
whoa.
another one in the southeast. Oh, these people will love you.
Please, you guys should not have me.
These people from the southeast.
You guys should not have me.
Our entire state.
I didn't intend to. It's unintentional.
Okay,
I'm
the
still trying
capital
to.
of this other state is Abakaliki.
Ebony. Wow, so it's Ebony. Ebony. They will have you. They will have it, Ebony. Please, you guys should forgive me.
Alright, so I think there is. Okay, yeah, so you mentioned Edo.
Yes, I mentioned Edo.
Okay, so
I mentioned like 4 now.
that's 4. It's 4.
It's 4.
Yeah.
Whoa! I think I did justice to this question. Even though it was not really straightforward. I was really beating around.
Yeah, you actually you did. Get it, so.
If you had given me enough time, I would have just been reciting the state and
capital
capital honestly from the beginning to the end. So I'm figuring out where there is E, and I'll try and count them.
Alright, so we have Ebonyi, Edo, Ekiti, Enugu. Yeah.
That's 4.
Okay. So here is to our future guest on the podcast. You better recite and memorize your state and capital table before coming here. I have so many questions here along those lines from the state and capital table.
I remember back then they'll be like, okay, I think I watched a funny video. They were like, recite state and capital. Oh my god, I can't remember what the person was saying, but it was really like you would literally laugh. And some instances, I know most of us cannot recite it anymore since we don't. It's been a long time. You might not remember.
You see here, right? I have it written down.
Whoa.
State and capital table. But I wrote this myself without help.
Wow.
Without looking elsewhere.
And okay, the reason why some of us might
me time. I took my sweet time doing it. I did it myself.
The reason why some of us can remember it easily, like me, I can remember it easily, is because it was more like a rhyme.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
And some extent, at times in assembly, in primary school, if I can remember, we must recite it before every day in assembly before going to the class. True. And sometimes again in the class, they'll be like, you must recite it once in a while. I'm also stressed, but now I see the game.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple interview shows or trivia shows on YouTube and sometimes on TV where they bring on celebrities and they ask them some of these basic questions about Nigeria. Well, I know in many cases I can't really blame some of the celebrities they bring because many of them did not actually grow up here in Nigeria, so they did not actually live the Nigerian experience and all that. So but then that's it. At least we grew up here in Nigeria and we are true Nigerians.
But some schools are not doing justice to the teaching.
Yeah, true.
And I think nowadays pupils nowadays don't really learn it.
They don't
really learn it unlike them before.
I think they still do.
I don't think it's all school. I'm not that sure, but I don't think it's all school that recite it as often as we used to back then. Because then once we come back home, you will be seeing one of the first questions you ask any child in pre-nursery is state and capital. Do you remember? But now I don't think they often ask that.
Hopefully, even if they are not teaching that for that long, hopefully they are replacing it with something equally or even more beneficial to the pupils or the students. That's our hope anyways. But the way the Nigerian educational curriculum is and the system, it's a different thing entirely. All right, thanks a lot, Miss. You have that one question in your bag. If you get the next one right, you are officially eligible for our gift by show sponsor TR01 Creative.
I love gifts.
And hopefully you'll be getting it.
I love
it's gifts. Almost guaranteed anyways. Don't worry. We won't ask you too difficult a question that you won't be able to answer to get that. All right. So, what's your favorite tourist attraction or heritage site in Nigeria?
In Nigeria?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. Hey, how comes I've forgotten this? There's this river they call. I'm trying to remember which state. Is it Iyaka River? I don't know. I've forgotten which state. Oh my! I even had to check on it one certain time to be sure of what I was hearing about it. I only can remember the story, but I just can't remember the state.
What's the story?
The story behind it is like there's a woman that was pregnant died in the water, and it is said that anyone that's looking for the fruits of the womb that takes the water from it or that washes up from the water.
Is that not Oshun?
I think it's Oshun.
Yeah.
I think it's. Do you know the water?
Yeah.
Lake
I
is
think
a lake kind of.
it's a river.
The water is
The
and they say it's
story-
very deep.
The story. I don't know if that's exactly.
Have you heard
the
the
story? Yeah,
I actually went to check on the
There is
story.
the Oshun Osogbo Festival.
Mm-hmm.
That's a festival celebrated in Osun State. It's generally to honor the goddess of the Osun River.
Okay.
And yes, many people who are actually looking for, as you said, the fruit of the womb, many women often attend that festival.
I think it should be Oshun because it's kind of a Yoruba state. I don't know.
Yeah, so it should be
It
Osun,
should
right?
be Oshun.
Okay.
I've actually watched a documentary about that river. I just forgot.
It's
the
an
state.
interesting festival, one of the cardinal festivals in Nigeria actually. I haven't been myself, even though I'm from around there, but
You
I haven't been to the festival.
Okay, to the festival.
Yeah, well,
I think
haven't
that's a
had the
place
time.
I would love
Maybe
to
someday.
visit. I love the view. When I saw a video, a documentary on it, I would love to
And you
visit
do find
it.
white people coming around. for the
Yes,
festival,
yes,
for the
yes.
events, yeah. Okay,
Wow.
that's great. That's great. Anyways, one day I would like to answer some of these questions myself. It's just we are not there yet, not quite yet. Maybe I don't know how we'll make that episode look like. Should we have one guest asking me the question,
Maybe.
or should we have multiple guests and then
Asking
each
you.
of the guests asking me their own question on getting my perspective on the Nigerian experience and stuff like that?
I think it should be more like a group talk. You
Okay.
say your mind, and the person will say his or her own thoughts on
So we have multiple guests.
multiple guests. Yeah. So grab small this idea on a particular
Would you like to
question.
be on that episode?
I really would love that. I really would love that.
All right. So you'll see. We'll put that in the works, and we'll see how we can be able to organize that episode. With no promises on how soon that can be, but I think that should be happening sometime. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Okay, talking about episode ideas. Here's the question.
Okay.
This is the Nigeria Review podcast where we review issues concerning Nigerian history, Nigerian society, Nigerian culture from certain unique perspectives. So, if you are to propose a topic, what topic would you propose that you make a feature episode that you could possibly be a guest on, or that you would like to be a guest on, or you would like to co-host? Take your time on this one.
Topic. Wow.
Maybe it could be a topic that's a subject that you're passionate about concerning Nigerian history or Nigerian society that you like to discuss. So that you can propose as a topic on the podcast, and then we can make an episode about it, and then you'll be our guest host on it in case we get to make that episode happen, of course.
Okay. I'm trying to make that a topic, but I really.
Take your sweet time. We have all day.
I'm trying to look for a suitable topic to round it up, but let me see. Okay, what is coming to my mind is what can I do for my country?
Okay.
What can I do for my country? I think everybody should answer that question.
All right.
Like in person, what can we do for our country?
True.
Aside the fact that our governments are doing something or they are leading us, which I don't know. So in person, in person, what can I do? We are all leaders in person. We are all leaders. We are leading each other.
Yeah.
You lead me, I lead you. So we are all leaders. So what can I do for my country?
Okay.
So put yourself in position of a president. Just the way people do this interview, I think I do say I once watched one interview. Like I think a guy was asked, if you're a president for just a day, what will you do for just that day as a president? So we should ask ourselves if we are to be placed in the shoe of a president or to govern a state for a particular day, or let me just say a week. So what will you do? So now the question is, what can I do for my country? I think that's an idea.
That's a good one. That's great actually, and it's something that every Nigerian, as a matter of fact, every human being, but in particular now, every Nigerian should actually think about. Yeah, like okay, we certainly all do have expectations from the country, from the government, but then what exactly is it that do we think that we can give in return to the
what are we
country?
giving back?
What can we do to make the conditions of the country better than it is presently or better than we met?
Yes. There is this saying that if you want, how did they put that? Is it that if you want to read a particular book, why don't you make that book yourself? I forgot how they put that, but it's
if you can't find the book, if it doesn't exist.
Yes, make it. Yes, if you don't like what you're seeing, make it the way you want it. If you don't like a particular song, or you have an idea of how this song should be, why don't you create that track?
Yeah, it reminds me of my elder sister. From back in the day when we watching certain movies on TV, and I used to be, well, I still am anyways, this kind of annoying critic, pointing out every little and major mistake they make, be it in the production or in the cinematography or in the editing or in the subtitling. And that annoys my sister to me, and she just goes about saying, come on, you are always pointing out these mistakes. When will you get to make your own movie? So if you think these people are so bad at their job,
why don't you make yours? Yes, so that's where I'm heading to. So if you don't like the way the situation is, what is your own contribution? Your contribution really counts. Don't say I'm just one and the nation is big. No, and the country is big. No. Your contribution really do count. So if you don't like this, go and make your own.
Great.
Contribute to it. Contribute to a better Nigeria. So
that's a very good and that's a good one. That's a deep one, and it's a food for thought too for not just our audience members. For me myself, you'll have to go back and think, am I really doing enough? Let's go. I think this should be our last interview question. There'll still be a quiz question coming after it. All right. So now, presented with the opportunity. I mean, this is a bit related to the answer you gave to the last question, but still. Presented with the opportunity and the power to fix a problem with Nigeria, which one are you picking and why?
A problem to fix a problem with Nigeria. Whoa, we get problem. Let's see. So, I one of the problem I would really find interest in is to fix our environment in terms of sustainability based on what's happening.
As an
environmentalist student that I am, I think fixing our environment. Okay, just while coming here, I was staring at the road. I would really say the road was not okay. I was seeing dates like the refuse disposal was on the road, on a main road. Like, it's so bad. Aside the fact that it's not making people to pass, it's really air pollution. It's an air pollution. Yes.
I mean, the general environmental
Thank you. It's so unhygienic for passerbys and even vehicles that are passing. So that's really big thing that we Nigerians should start fixing. Like, if I'm giving the power to, I think the first thing I would think of is how can we make this possible? How can we work together to create a more conducive environment for every one of us? We deserve a better environment to stop all these this thing, climate this thing. That are arising from this thing, bad environments and pollutions that are harmful to us, ourselves as human beings, and also to our planet. The ozone layer will be depreciating as a result of our bad habits to the environment. So that's one big thing. And that's why I think I even love the course I'm even studying as a student.
Thanks a lot. And I think, true to that, the issue of the environment, conservation of our natural environment and environmental pollution is one that I don't think we don't actually take it that seriously in this
and we
country,
should start
and we need to actually call for more attention to it.
Invest more in our environment.
More,
Our
not just
environment.
money, but actually man resources.
Yes.
Time to actually
Imagine when we don't have an environment, then where are we living on?
Exactly.
There is no earth to live. Where there is no earth, there is no way we can get money from, because it's from this earth we are getting the money from.
Exactly.
If we are
As
all
people say,
focused on
we
wealth.
are a product of our environment.
Yeah.
If we kill the environment, we are indirectly killing ourselves.
Yes, we are cleaning ourselves, because imagine you destroying the home you live in. Where would you stay?
End up, exposing yourself to the
Yes. So where would you stay? Imagine you destroying the home you live, and then now you're living with no shade, and there's a direct sunlight on you. Imagine you sleeping under sun. There's no place to stay. Just take that for the earth as a whole. When we destroy the earth, there's no form of living. There's no form of a healthy body to even look for that wealth we are also aspiring to get.
Yeah.
So our environment matters first.
There is also a thing there for people in government, in public offices, public planning offices, about how they are planning our cities today. Are they really planning the cities with the future in mind?
Yeah.
You know, are we just creating concrete jungles, cutting down trees for construction purposes without replacing their growth? And also the issue of forest conservation and stuff like that.
Yeah, seriously, we should really conserve our forest and also animals. We need to conserve them too. They're also helpful to us. They're also, aside the pet parts or the pet ones, they're also the wild ones too. They are also important.
They also serve many important.
They serve many important. They help our environments. Yes.
Yeah, thanks a lot for opening our eyes to that, Miss Stella. I hope people get inspired from this, of course, to pay more attention to many of these issues.
I really hope so.
All right, so before we end the podcast now, here is the last question. It's a quiz question. So we have 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, right?
Yes.
We have the northwest, we have the northeast, we have the north central, we have the southeast, we have the southwest, we have the south.
Yes.
Okay. And each of these geopolitical zones are comprised of various numbers of states.
Yes.
Ranging from 5 to 7, depending on the zone. All right, so the question here is...
I'm already lost. Continue.
The question here is, list the states in the southwest geopolitical zone.
Whoa. I'm trying to envision the map in my face now. How do I start from? Where do I start from?
Southwest.
From the southwest.
The Yoruba states. So.
I know because
You already mentioned one recently on this episode.
I mentioned one. Ekiti.
Yeah, you mentioned
Ekiti.
2 actually.
Ekiti.
So Ekiti, that's 1.
Lagos.
Yeah, 2.
Ondo.
3. The other OO states.
Osun.
Yeah,
Ibadan.
that's Oyo State. Yes.
There's
There's one more.
There's one more.
The state right above Lagos State.
Right
on the
above
map.
Lagos is on the map. This
That's
super.
It's an O state too.
It's an old state. Ogun.
All right. So I think that's about it. You have Lagos, Ogun, Ekiti, Ondo, Osun, and Oyo State.
In rhyme with
Exactly.
one another.
Right. So Lagos, Ogun is right above Lagos on the map, and then I think somewhere between them both to the top there is Ekiti, and then to the right is Ondo, and then to the top there you have Osun, and then above that is Oyo. All
Study
right.
this map.
I mean,
state positioning.
I'm the host of the Nigerian Review podcast talking about Nigerian history, so I have to have studied that a lot.
I know I used to study maps to some extent, but I never take my time to actually study exact where those states are like.
Okay.
I try to envision how I've looked at the map countless times and trying to see if I can actually fit in some answers, but I think I need to go back.
All right. So, I think you did quite some justice to that question, and at least to most of the questions we've asked. The quiz question, in the interview questions, you killed them all, of course. So, I think on the episode, we like to present you with a gift that's provided by show sponsor.
Finally, I got a gift. I say I love this from the start.
TR01
Oh.
Creative. It's
Oh
a branded
my
notebook
God.
for
Hey,
the
I've got
podcast.
a new jotter. I can write on. Write more
So
stories.
this is provided by the TR01 Creative. It's a sister design outfit to the
my God, it's
podcast.
so pretty.
You can find them on Facebook or at
Guys,
TR01 Creative. And you can see the particular note design for the podcast there on their page,
Wow,
and
so
many
pretty.
other note designs too.
Oh
All
my
right.
God, I'll write on.
So I think we are coming towards the end of the podcast now. Miss Stella, can you tell our audience members where can they find you online in case they want to see some of your work and what you do, and maybe even what you look like? I know you do post some of your own pics there sometime.
Kind of. Okay. On Instagram, my page name is Stella Nwobodo, Stella.Nwobodo. And then on Facebook, my page name is Mara, then Ella, then Nwobodo. That's my surname. Then I think those are the two handles I am more active on. The rest, Twitter is Stella Nwobodo, and also LinkedIn is Stella, but I'm not that active on those handles. But my major handle is IG and Facebook. So you can check out my work and also like and comment as well. Follow for more. We're having more updates from my art. My art is booming and I need your support all.
It is indeed. I need to continue to boom some more and more. All right. So thanks a lot, Miss. And well, you can find this podcast everywhere you find your podcast. It's out there on AudioMark, on Spotify, on Google Podcast, and on your favorite podcast aggregating apps, talking about Podcast Addict, Podcast Bin, and other similar apps. It's 0100 Naija. It's spelled 01 hyphen 00 Naija. So it's on all those platforms, and you can also follow us on social media handles. We are on Facebook at 0100 Naija. We are on Instagram, same thing, 0100 Naija. You can also find us on Twitter at 0100 Naija, 0100 Naija. Well, I am the scientist. You can find me on Twitter at Lefty Science. I'm Lefty Scientist at Lefty Science on Twitter. I think that's about it, right?
Yes.
Any parting shot for the audience?
Just be a good Nigerian.
Indeed.
Change start from us, not the leaders. We are also a leader.
Yeah,
So change
the
start
leaders
from us.
are picked from a pool of us. The
Yes,
pool of
yes,
us
exactly.
Nigerians.
So we are all leaders. Please.
Okay, so please take that advice and act on it. This is the scientist signing out, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.
Thank you.